Got to speak, feel me? What you doing next?
We want financials.
Tell him we going to Canelo next.
Yes. Let's go. Canelo, come on.
You heard it from him.
We are ready.
Just when we all thought the chance of a Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford big fight was over, things have taken a dramatic turn. The head of boxing in Saudi Arabia, His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, has changed his mind about supporting the showdown after originally pulling out of the deal. The new development happened soon after Canelo's recent win over Berlanga, which sparked new hope for the fight.
Crawford, I see he wants to fight. He's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy.
Following Canelo's impressive showing against Berlanga today, the saga took a turn that no one saw coming. Canelo once again showed why he is one of the best boxers by beating Berlanga and winning by majority decision. The win, which included a brutal knockout in the third round, confirmed Canelo's dominance and made waves on social media. As fans began to enjoy Canelo's latest win, the fire broke out. Al-Sheikh and Crawford were seen watching UFC 36 at the Las Vegas Sphere, not too far from the T-Mobile Arena, where Canelo's fight had taken place. All of a sudden, Crawford and Al-Sheikh went on Instagram Live to start talking about a fight with Canelo again. The exchange came as a surprise to fans, but it got their attention right away.
If I'm easy work, I heard him say, I'm easy work. If I was easy work, you would take all that money that he's offering.
Turki, let them know that we're going to go after Canelo next. He said this during the live stream. Turki Al-Sheikh wasted no time in agreeing and replying with, yes. Let's go, Canelo Saman, we are ready. Crawford, showing his confidence, said, you heard it from him? Just put me in the game. Canelo Crawford, for the last few months, the story of this possible fight has been rough. In 2023, Al-Sheikh, chairman of Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority, wanted to set up a dream match between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Fans were discussing the possibility of the fight, which was at the top of Al-Sheikh's list of things he wanted to happen, and talks reportedly began.
I said before, and this is my opinion, I don't start to talking about these things. He started and he said he respects me.
But then communication between Canelo's team and Al-Sheikh broke down. It was a huge blow for fight fans as the offer was abruptly withdrawn. Al-Sheikh was upset that Canelo wasn't interested in moving forward with the fight. Canelo's decision to drop the fight was later confirmed on social media, where he said he would focus on other boxes and even hinted at going in a different way with Crawford. My response to Turki is that yesterday, they texted me and said we can talk about the fight in August 2024, Al-Sheikh wrote on social media. I chose to disregard the Canelo fight as I don't want it anymore. Instead, I will be focusing on bigger fights, especially for the legend Crawford. This statement seemed final. Fans were left disappointed, wondering if they would ever see Canelo and Crawford share the ring. The tension didn't stop there. Canelo Alvarez soon responded to Turki Al-Sheikh's public statements, saying that he didn't like the way the Saudi chief did business.
Point to Turkey is this. Yesterday, they text me. They text me and say, we can talk about the fight.
This remark set off another round of heated arguments, and things got personal quickly. Al-Sheikh fired back with his own pointed words. I heard that Canelo said that he respects me but doesn't like the way we do business. In reaction to Canelo's comments, Al-Sheikh tweeted, as for him respecting me, it doesn't matter to me if he does or not. As for the way I do business, I know why he doesn't like it because I only target big fights at fair prices. So of course anyone who likes easy fights won't like that.
I had Canelo like he can be beat. He's been beat before, so he can definitely, Buck got the tools to beat him. I mean, Buck got it in him. He has it in him.
The tension continued to escalate as Al-Sheikh touched on Canelo's 2022 loss to Dimitri Bivol, saying that Canelo had been avoiding tougher opponents ever since. Al-Sheikh accused Canelo of looking for easier fights while avoiding bigger challenges like Crawford and David Benavidez. Also, I'm not the one who's afraid of fighting Benavidez or Crawford, Al-Sheikh wrote in his tweet. Therefore, I knew he was wasting our time and making excuses with big amounts of money that can't be paid, so I'm continuing my way to make big fights that serve the boxing world, and he's on his way to making easy show-only fights. This jab at Canelo's choice of opponents caused ripples in the boxing world. Canelo's fans defended their champion while critics began to question whether Al Sheik's words held some truth. The idea of Canelo avoiding difficult fights seemed unlikely to many considering his track record of facing tough opponents, but the claims created a narrative of unfinished business between Canelo, the Saudi boxing.
Canelo fight, realistically left your mind once he said he's not interested, or you still pursuing it?
Not at all. I think business calls.
Promoter the change in tone from Al Sheik was surprising given his earlier comments after publicly distancing himself from Canelo just weeks prior. Why was he now so eager to reignite the fight discussions? For Al Sheik, the reason likely lies in a combination of ambition and ego. The opportunity to market what would be one of the biggest fights in boxing history is too big to pass up. The rivalry between Crawford and Canelo is not only a fight of skills but also a clash of legacies. Both fighters are considered among the best of their generation, and a showdown between them would be nothing short of historic. Al Sheik's goal of creating massive global boxing events plays a key part in his choice to pursue the fight once again. Meanwhile, Crawford, who has already cemented his place as one of boxing's legends, is eager to take on the biggest challenge available with his recent wins and new title at a fourth weight division. Crawford is hungry for more. Canelo represents the ultimate test, and Crawford knows that a win over the Mexican superstar would solidify his status as one of the greatest fighters of all time. Despite Turki Al Sheik and Crawford's public callout, the fight still faces some challenges. Canelo's camp has yet to respond directly to the renewed offer, and the previous breakdown in talks suggests that the two sides have more work to do before a deal can be. Canelo's upcoming plans also confuse the matter fresh off his win against Berlanga. Canelo may be looking to defend his titles against other challengers before considering Crawford. There's also the question of whether Canelo is ready to negotiate with Al Sheik after the public back and forth, especially given his previous criticisms of the Saudi promoter's business. However, the beauty of such a huge fight may ultimately prove irresistible. The potential payday, the chance to settle the score once and for all, could bring both camps to the negotiating table. However, it's just recently that Canelo Alvarez made it clear that he's not interested in fighting Terence Crawford, and according to him, the fight was never something he sought out. Alvarez sent a strong word to His Excellency Turki Al Sheik Canelo's position. He didn't ask for the fight, and he doesn't care about Turkey's interest in. This announcement came after talks spread about a possible mega fight between Alvarez and the soon-to-be 37-year-old Crawford. For fans, it seemed like a dream matchup. Crawford has been on a hot streak, and a fight against Canelo could have boosted his legacy, but I'll insist that it's not something he's been looking for. Canelo claims the idea for the fight came entirely from Crawford's side. He believes that Crawford is pushing for the fight to secure a major payday, not to cement his legacy. As Crawford's camp suggests, I was texted yesterday about a possible fight against Crawford in February. Canelo made it clear that his focus was on the fight with Edgar Berlanga, which happened today. Crawford needs to fight Teofimo first, and then we'll see Alvarez reacting to Turkey's comment that he's no longer interested in organizing the fight between the two champions.
Crawford needs to fight Teofimo first, and then we'll see, right?
From Canelo's perspective, Crawford is chasing a big payout, which Alvarez thinks is the main reason the fight keeps coming up. I'm not asking for that fight. Crawford wants to make that fight because it's a payday. Obviously, I don't want that fight. Alvarez emphasized that he even went as far as to say that Teofimo Lopez deserves the fight more than Crawford. Canelo's message was blunt and dismissive, reinforcing that he has no interest in facing Crawford unless certain conditions are. It's unclear whether Canelo was fully serious about Crawford fighting Teofimo, but he seemed to imply that it's something Crawford should consider. His Excellency Turki Al Sheik, known for putting together high-profile matches, shouldn't have too much trouble organizing a Crawford-Teofimo fight if both fighters are interested. Lopez has been vocal lately, practically asking for a fight against Crawford. He's even willing to move up to 150 pounds to make it happen. However, Crawford has shown little interest in fighting Teofimo because the payday wouldn't be nearly as big as a fight against Canelo or some of the other top-tier names in boxing. For Crawford, the Canelo fight is about more than just legacy. It's about securing one of the biggest paychecks of his career. Canelo reiterated that he never asked to fight Crawford and that the idea of the match was entirely on Crawford's side. In his eyes, it was not a big loss that Turki was no longer interested in making the fight because it was never on his radar. Alvarez felt that Crawford should stick to fighters in or around his own weight class instead of chasing payday in a division where he's never fought if Crawford is serious about facing Canelo. Alvarez made it clear that he would need to prove himself at 168 pounds by fighting and beating some of the top names in the division. Canelo mentioned David Ben and David Morrell as two names that Crawford should consider facing if he wants to be taken seriously, but as Alvarez pointed out, Crawford is not fighting those guys because the chance of losing is too high. Alvarez took a dig at Crawford's recent performance, saying that Crawford couldn't even beat for pounder Israel Madamu without controversy.
Right hand wasn't bothering me. You know, I wasn't really too much worried about the right hand. You know, he landed a couple of times.
Crawford's fight against Madoff was a grueling contest that ended with many fans and pundits questioning the result. Alvarez hinted that Crawford looked like he had been run over by a train by the time the fight was over. My response to Turki is that yesterday, they texted me and said we can talk about that fight in February with Crawford. I said I'm not going to talk about any other fight. I'm focused 100% on this fight. Canelo said, showing his commitment to his immediate priorities, including his match against Berlanga. If Turki wants to push for a fight between Canelo and Crawford, Alvarez made it clear that certain conditions would need to be met if he wants to work with me. It's in my way, not their way. I don't need it. Canelo said about the possible matchup that he emphasized that if Crawford wants to fight, he will need to approach Canelo on his terms, not the other way around.
Turki said he's no longer you're no longer in the running of working with him for the Crawford fight.
I don't really care about it. Look, I'm focused 100% on my fight.
Canelo's advice to Crawford was straightforward. If you want the fight, you're going to have to earn it. It's not the way you approach me. I respect everybody, and I respect Turki. If he wants to work with me, it needs to be my way. I've got nothing to do with Crawford. Alvarez said that Crawford hasn't done enough to deserve a fight with him in Canelo's view. The implication is that Crawford needs to prove his worth by fighting top-tier competition at 168 pounds, and only then would Canelo consider stepping into the ring with him. For Alvarez, it's not just about money. It's about legacy and defending his position as the best in the division. With the Canelo fight seemingly off the table, Crawford will need to focus on other opponents. Jaron Boots is one name that's been floating around. Andy Sandis is a young, hungry fighter who has been making waves in the welterweight division. A fight between Crawford and Ennis could be an exciting matchup that would push Crawford's skills and help solidify his legacy.
Or not.
Yo, it don't even matter. Yo,
all right, catch up, little homie. Catch up, then. If it don't matter, catch up.
Yo,
catch up.
Additionally, Canelo mentioned that Crawford should consider giving Israel Madrimov a rematch, especially given the controversy surrounding their last fight. If Crawford can win those two fights without controversy, it could significantly boost his standing in the sport while Crawford continues to chase fights in divisions outside his comfort zone. Canelo remains the king of the 168-pound class. Alvarez is widely regarded as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, and he has consistently proven himself against top-tier competition. If a fight between Crawford and Canelo ever happens, it's likely that Canelo would have the advantage. Despite Crawford's impressive resume, he has never competed at 168 pounds, and it's uncertain how his skills would translate to a higher weight class. Meanwhile, Canelo has been dominant in the division, and even though he's had some tough fights recently, his experience and power at 168 make him a formidable opponent for anyone. If anything, Crawford's recent performances suggest that he might struggle against someone like Canelo, who has faced and beaten some of the best fighters in the sport. If Crawford truly wants to challenge Canelo, he will need to prove himself at 168 pounds first, either by fighting Teofimo Lopez or taking on some of the other top names in the division. Until then, Canelo has made it clear that he's not interested in.
Sheik calling you out. What's your response to Terence Crawford's call out tonight?
No comment.
Canelo Alvarez retained his unified super middleweight belts with a decisive performance against Edgar Berlanga. In their bout, Canelo demonstrated his dominance early by dropping Berlanga in the third round. Although Berlanga managed to get back up, he was thoroughly outclassed by Canelo throughout the fight. This victory underscored Canelo's superior skill and strength in the ring. The fight against Berlanga had faced criticism before it even began. Oscar de la Hoya, a prominent figure in boxing and promoter of Berlanga, had disparaged the matchup, calling it a snoozefest. This criticism reflected concerns about the challenge Berlanga posed to Canelo, with many feeling that the fight was a mismatch looking ahead. Canelo has several intriguing choices for his next bout in the super middleweight division. One notable potential opponent is Christian Andali. Anatoly has expressed a strong desire to fight the best after his recent victory over Sergey Dyanenko MB. Billy is set to face Jimmy Manja later this month, and a victory in that bout could position him as a viable option for a future fight with Canelo. A win over Manja would improve Bill's credentials and set up a rematch with Canelo, which could be highly anticipated.
Hard work, easy fight. Yeah. Hard work, easy fight.
A rematch with the Caleb Plant is another important alternative for Canelo. Canelo previously defeated Plant in 2021, stopping him in the 11th round. After a heated build-up during their initial fight, tensions were high with Plant attempting to slap Canelo during a face-off leading to a retaliatory cut into Plant's side by Alvarez. Plant has voiced his desire for a rematch, and his recent win over Trevor McCombs adds momentum to the narrative of a possible second encounter. This rematch could offer Plant an opportunity to avenge his loss and provide Canelo with a chance to further solidify his dominance in the division. Canelo's future also holds the chance of facing Terence Crawford or David Benavidez in high-profile bouts. For a while, a fight with Crawford has been a topic of discussion. Originally, Canelo dismissed the idea, claiming that a victory over Crawford, who fights in a lower weight class, would not add significant value to his legacy. However, Canelo has since softened his stance, suggesting that such a fight might still be feasible based on financial terms. Crawford's prowess and reputation make this a highly intriguing matchup, but it remains contingent on the financial talks and agreements between the A fight with David Benavidez is another possible blockbuster. Canelo had reportedly sought $200 million for a bout with Benavidez, a number that was considered excessive and possibly a way to avoid the matchup unless Canelo revises his financial demands. A fight with Benavidez seems unlikely in the immediate future. The financial aspect will play a crucial role in determining whether this highly anticipated clash can come to fruition. There is also an outside chance of Canelo stepping into the ring with Conor McGregor. The two have engaged in verbal sparring on social media, with McGregor criticizing Canelo's footwork and suggesting he could defeat the Mexican fighter. Canelo reacted calmly, asserting that despite McGregor's focus on UFC, he could handle McGregor with just one hand. The possibility of a crossover boxing match has not been totally ruled out. McGregor has expressed a desire to stay active and has mentioned exploring opportunities beyond UFC, possibly including a fight with Canelo if the conditions are right.
And everything, but I knew. I think is the type of fight Terence Crawford is different. 168, but like I say, like he say, nobody's gonna give me credit for that.
Thank you very much.
McGregor's UFC future is currently uncertain as he awaits the outcome of Michael Chandler's fight against Charles Oliveira at UFC 309. White has suggested that McGregor will fight early next year, but if Chandler loses, McGregor might need a new opponent. McGregor has shown interest in securing a fight with Canelo, emphasizing his desire to stay busy and explore various fighting opportunities. He has even suggested the possibility of a joint venture involving bare-knuckle boxing and UFC, mirroring the promotional partnership seen in other high-profile fights.
What did you think of Conor calling you at, Conor McGregor?
Would you take Crawford at 58? No more questions?
Canelo, would you fight Conor if you wanted to? Yeah.
Maybe when I retire.
In the immediate wake of his fight with Berlanga, Canelo indicated that he would take some time off before making any choices about his next bout, reflecting on his previous performance. Canelo stated, "I did good now. What are they going to say? I fight younger fighters before they say I only fight older fighters. They always talk I'm the best fighter in the world." He said he respects me. I'm his idol. He said he feels bad for the way he acted, but you know he did good with adrenaline. I got a little angry. I'm a Mexican man. Viva Mexico, cabron. I'm going to rest and enjoy my family now, and then I'll decide. This statement showed Carlos's confidence in his abilities and his desire to take a well-deserved break before planning his next steps.
Canelo, Johnny Boy Boxing, Flight Hype. I just want to ask you, what do you think about Terence Crawford? What do we think about Terence Crawford's performance, and do you want to get a fight with him?
If the money is right, I mean.
$100 million. I heard Turkey offered you a big money already.
150.
150?
As Canelo contemplates his future, the landscape of potential matchups remains dynamic, with various exciting possibilities on the horizon. Whether it's a rematch with Plant, a high-profile fight against Crawford or Benavidez, or even a crossover bout with McGregor. We'll be watching his next move, but what's your take? Share your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to like for more information. Subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.